Good morning, Kansas City. Welcome to Uncanceled on KCMO Talk Radio 95.7 FM. I'm Kevin Kietzman. In on a downer of a Monday as the Chiefs fall flat in their home opener against the Philadelphia Eagles. Have lost 3 times in a row now to the Eagles since they beat them in the Super Bowl. We'll get into that. The moment of silence that they had at the game, some other goings-on around the league, and how America is dealing with the unbelievable story from last week, Charlie Kirk assassinated in Utah. We'll take your phone calls as well today. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I always like people's reactions to football. I know that we're not typically a sports show, but the Chiefs are something everyone in this town talks about all the time, so you're always welcome to call and talk a little football. In 30 minutes, we'll have some information about the fallout from Charlie Kirk's tragic death and the way people have handled it, including Brian Kilmeade of Fox News, who seems to be pretty lucky to still have his job today. If you haven't heard this story, we'll be getting into that one as well. And Mark will join us later. I lost my first pick of the year, so we're now each 3-1 on the year, 6-2 overall. We'll get into that and talk about some other things going on, including a very strange moment with the Atlanta Falcons kicker last night after the Sunday Night Football game, something I'm not sure that I've ever seen before. But we begin with the Chiefs, and I'm going to give them a C+ for their moment of silence and the way they handled it. I think there was some CYA involved in this by including everybody that mentioned, Minneapolis or Colorado and Charlie Kirk. And we want to acknowledge that we lost people this week and we're going to have a moment of silence. That's fine. I get it. I understand that it's the politically correct way to go. But there were 4 cities in the NFL that didn't do anything. They didn't lower the flags to half-staff. There was no moment of silence. They didn't mention anything anywhere. Those cities were Indianapolis, Cincinnati, Detroit, and Baltimore. And we won't make complete judgments on the ownerships of the teams, but it's likely that the owners of those teams do not fall into any conservative slant, or maybe they've just said we're out of the business of politics. If that's the case, I'm on board. If the lesson learned is we embraced George Floyd but cannot mention Charlie Kirk, then shame on you. If what's going on internally with these other teams is we mentioned George Floyd and it blew up in our face, and it's taken us years to recover from this debacle that the NFL was with George Floyd and ending race. I can't believe as powerful as the NFL is, they have not ended racism yet or stopped hate. It is stupid. And I will continue to analyze this in the same way. What bothers me about the teams not doing anything with Charlie Kirk, or the Chiefs doing it generically, saying, look, there are 3 things that happened and we got to stop senseless killing, which everybody would agree with. I'm not saying the Chiefs said anything wrong or improper. It simply seemed safe to me. They were on the George Floyd thing. We once loved Travis Kelce, even though he was kneeling during the anthem. Okay? We've got things here that we've conveniently forgotten that shouldn't be forgotten. And what I remember around the NFL is every single team was on board. I remember Patrick Mahomes making a PSA, a video, because when he was very early in his career, he couldn't say no to anybody. And I'm sure he regrets it today, and I'm sure his wife regrets that he did it today, because she posted about Charlie Kirk last week, a very heartfelt thing about violence, and it was nice. And if you go back 9 years and you want to see Patrick Mahomes in some sort of a George Floyd commercial, it was there. The NFL Players Association put it together and asked him to do it, and he did it. And everybody that was involved with Black Lives Matter, raising money, stealing funds, getting arrested, fraudulent mortgages, all the riots, all the burning, all the things that happened after George Floyd were post-George Floyd. And maybe some of this is we're not going to do Charlie Kirk because we made a mistake with George Floyd, but I can't give these people the benefit of that doubt. Can you? I can't go there. I can't sit there and say, well, the Colts probably didn't do this because they got burned by George Floyd 9 years ago or whatever year. Everybody got burned by the George Floyd thing, but everybody jumped on board. No, I still live in, as Rush Limbaugh used to say, Realville, okay? And in Realville, it still feels like every corporation, every public entity, anything that's out in public, any spectacle with big crowds, they're terrified of the left. Which means in that regard, the left is still winning. If shooting Charlie Kirk in the neck, if shooting Donald Trump in the ear, if laying in the bushes at a golf course with a loaded rifle pointed, getting ready for Trump to come by as he's golfing, if all of this violence, if all these trans mass killers is from the left, and we're terrified of the left, and we're kowtowing the left, we're not winning at all. And that's what this feels like to me. The National Football League had an announcement at the game on Thursday night, the Thursday night football game. I believe that game was that game in Green Bay last Thursday night. The Packers played the Thursday night game. So they made an announcement. The NFL wrote the announcement about Charlie Kirk, and they announced it at that game. And then what did the NFL do? On Friday, they made it public that we will allow each team to deal with this however they want or not at all. There is no NFL mandate. There's nothing. But it's still going to say stop hate in the end zone or end racism or any of these other social things that are, it's so stupid. It's so stupid. I'm sorry. There's nothing, if there's anything beneath the NFL, it's stupid platitudes in the end zone that say end racism and stop hate. It's dumb. It's childish. It doesn't do anything. It's you virtue signaling that you're some sort of force for good. But you're not a force for good if you're a billionaire NFL owner and you honored George Floyd in your stadium, but don't even mention Charlie Kirk and the life that he lived. How we allow one side of whether it's media or culture or whatever to dictate someone who's a hero and someone who's not is unfathomable. There is no comparison between the life lived between George Floyd and Charlie Kirk. It couldn't be more stark. Multiple arrests, drug-fueled, crazed criminal going nuts. They had to get him out of the car before he was down on the ground. They had to get him out of the car. They were afraid he was going to kill himself in the car because he'd gone wild, banging his head against the seats. He was freaking out on drugs right before everybody's eyes, which is what George Floyd did, was freak out on drugs. And he became a hero to the NFL. But we've got teams that can't mention Charlie Kirk for walking his Christian, patriotic American life with his wife and children, who pretty much wanted good for everyone and never harmed a soul. What's wrong with us? I don't even know how that's possible. And again, it absolutely could be, we got burned 10 years ago on George Floyd, and we're not doing this anymore. We're just staying out of politics. And maybe in the end, that's a win for all of us. Just NFL, stay out of all this, but take the crap off the field. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. It's the same thing. We don't want to see players kneeling. We don't see any of this. Otherwise, pick a side and do it right. Say, we're going to honor somebody that was really good. Whether you agreed with him politically or not, we're going to honor this person because this was a really good person that didn't do anything other than speak and got a bullet from a rifle in the neck that hundreds of millions, maybe into the billions of people have now seen globally on social media with blood spewing out his neck. You got no time for that guy? The National Football League. Way to go. And you know what? Another thing, I'm going to take it another step. I gave the Chiefs a C+. They did okay. I can't bash them for what they did, but that's not who you are. Clark Hunt, that's not your family. Your entire family, you are the deepest, most devout Christians of any owners in this league. You go on Fox News, Fox and Friends, and play pickleball with the anchors, and you hang out, and the daughter's probably going to wind up working at Fox News and all this other stuff. But come game day, you just put aside what's really important to you, and you can't separate it. This might have been a good day for Harrison Butker to do an invocation or Clark Hunt to grab the microphone. I'm not talking about on TV. I'm talking about in the stadium, maybe 10 minutes before kickoff. Maybe even if the players weren't out there. Preach it. Be who you are. Do not be afraid to be who you are. And for God's sake, don't ever go the other way when it's what you're against and say, oh, we just got to kowtow to these people and prove to them that we understand George Floyd. No. I had a private conversation years ago, two of them, in fact, with Mark Donovan, who had called me and said, you talk to all these fans all day long. What should we be doing? And I said, I'll tell you what you should be doing. You should be keeping your team in the locker room if they're going to kneel during the anthem. Or you should have your head coach tell them that if you kneel, you're not playing. And if you're not playing, you're letting your teammates down. And your teammates will be all over you for this. There were a lot of things the Chiefs could have done when this was going on. They didn't do any of them. I gave them my opinion. They didn't go with it. They probably didn't like my opinions. But this is 4 cities to not have the flags at half staff. I mean, even the liberal governor of Kansas has lowered the flags through Sunday at 6 o'clock. They did that. I would like to think these NFL teams learned their lesson and just don't want to get involved again, but I don't think that's it. I think it's it. And standing with someone who, nobody wanted George Floyd to die. Nobody wanted that. But come on, there's no hero status to a person like that. He did not live a hero's life, and he didn't die a hero's death. He did not. I don't throw hero around a lot. But there's a lot of people looking at Charlie Kirk as a hero. Truly. For the way that he lived. It's sad. 913-408-7957. That's 913-408-7957. The phone lines are wide open. Come on in. Maybe I'm off base on this one. You tell me what you think. We'll do it next on Uncanceled. This is KCMO.
Call Kevin Kietzman, 913-408-7957. Now on 95.7 FM.
Hey, we're back on Uncanceled on KCMO Talk Radio, presented by bestofferkc.com, helping you leave the hassle behind. We've been talking about a lady named Stacy, who's really one of the greatest stories ever at Best Offer KC. She was in a really what she perceived to be a very dangerous situation in her home with her kids and needed to sell, move fast, and get out of town. And Best Offer KC helped her all the way through that. She called him back after the whole thing was over several weeks later in tears, crying about the great job they'd done for her, how happy she was to have started her new life and had her kids in a safe place. Now, that's bestofferkc.com. They'll work with you in very kind ways. It's not just about selling a house. It's not just about the transaction. It's personal with bestofferkc.com. They know when you need to sell a house fast, there's a reason why, and they want to work you through that situation. So if you know somebody that needs to sell a house quickly, have them call Best Offer KC at 816-338-SOLD. That's 338-SOLD for bestofferkc.com, helping you leave the hassle behind. All right, we're taking your phone calls at 913-408-7957. First up today is Pierce in Lenexa. Good morning, Pierce. What's on your mind?
Good morning, Kevin. Love the show. I just want to maybe pass a message on to my fellow Americans that are between the ages of like 22 to 30. I'm going to try to keep it quick, man. I have a lot to say, but everybody does. In any case, back in 2020, when that whole election was going on, I started listening to Charlie Kirk and Steven Crowder, that type of crowd, and my whole family is blue. And it turns out after I started listening to them that I'm the only person who had common sense to see that red is better, or not better, but more logical. But in any case, a lot of people, especially on social media, they like to portray things wrongly, and everything that you see is not real on the internet. Random accounts have different conspiracy theories, and it's their objective to cause misalignment between people and try to keep people separated. And ultimately what I'm trying to get to is Charlie Kirk really opened my eyes, and he explained things in a way that most politicians can't,
right,
or refuse to because of optics, you know. And I felt like he really cared for America, and ultimately he led me back to the right path. I feel like...
Well, he led you to the truth. He led you to the truth. Politicians a lot of times will not tell the truth because it's inconvenient for them, or they think it's going to get them in trouble with some voter block or something like that. Charlie Kirk was a truth teller. And you're right. He laid it out there and said, here's the facts. Here's the way things are. You decide for yourself. It's absolutely the best way to do it. And he could do things and say things that politicians couldn't.
Right. And I feel like, him going to college campuses and just watching all his podcasts, it was inspiring people to have the common sense and to really, like, do their own research instead of just believing everything that the media tells you, or that just anybody tells you in general. And I feel like he could have, definitely won the 32 or 36 presidential race in, 7-8 years, whatever. But unfortunately, we'll never get to see that chance. But all I want to say is just, I went to church this Sunday after 2 or 3 years of not going to church, and I feel really connected again, and I felt like I found that support group. So my message to any young person between 22 and 30 is just, hey,
find church.
Trust in yourself. Find a good support group, people that are like-minded. Don't be scared of your family. I have conversations with my family, and it gets rough and tense because everybody's kind of stuck in their ways.
Well,
but,
I'm already. I appreciate your call, Pierce. Thanks. We got some other folks that want to chime in as well. That's very good. I think Bill Maher is the guy who actually said it best. It's the people on the left that will not talk or have discourse or listen to anyone else in their family. They just won't have it. There's like, nope, no. I'm tuning you out. He said every Republican that comes in here, every conservative will sit here and talk the issues and go through it all and is open and is friendly and likes you. It's just different, and it's created a lot of problems in a lot of families. There's no doubt about it. But it's typical of people who react like this. There's a far left media outlet. I don't think it's a big outlet. It's called the New Republic. And I'm reading from a story here at Breitbart now. Charlie Kirk's assassination, the New Republic declared that Democrats' responses condemning the killing were, quote, too tasteful for the moment, warning that empathy helps prop up Republicans and Trumpists as legitimate and normal political actors. The newspaper urged Democrats to adopt a callous, perhaps, but short of cruel tone, even suggesting they say it this way: I'm sorry Charlie Kirk's family is suffering. I wish his message would die with him. What? They don't think people on the left have said enough about Charlie Kirk? I mean, it's unbelievable. The things that are out there that people see, people say, and the way they perceive what's going on. I mean, does New Republic not see all these people losing their jobs? All these media reports, all these wackadoodles going in there where the vigils are taking place and causing trouble? A Texas Tech student yesterday, this would be a national story for the other way around. This was a black girl, an 18-year-old student at Texas Tech. She goes to one of the vigils and she starts screaming. Let me get this exactly right, what she starts screaming. F y'all, homie dead. He got shot in the head. Well, it didn't go very well with people saying prayers, and it didn't go very well with officials in Texas either. They grabbed her, they arrested her for this, and then Texas Tech expelled her from school. The governor of Texas, Greg Abbott, posted on social media, FAFO. This is what we're doing in Texas. I can't even imagine writing a story that there's not enough, that it hasn't gone far enough, that there's not enough out there on the left, that they're being too kind in the wake of all this. I mean, I can't, to me, it's just unfathomable. I can't get to a place where a publication or people on the left would think that. I just can't. Here is Mike calling in from Sherwood Forest. Okay, Mike, what's up?
Hey, Kevin. Hey, I just wanted to say this with the whole Charlie Kirk thing. He inspired my wife and I and 4 kids to wake up early Sunday and go to St. Agnes for the first time voluntary in over 5 years. And then after Mass, we actually went over to Miege where they have that new candle visual that they built. And we got out and we pulled up and there was about a 12-year-old boy on his bicycle by himself praying. And he lit a candle. We pulled up and got out and we lit some candles for Charlie, and just wanted to say that he inspired us to kind of get back to faith and take our 4 kids, and the youngest is 2.5, and just start going to church every Sunday.
Awesome, dude. That's a great call, man. Thank you so much for sharing that with us today. That's fantastic. That's St. Agnes. That's the parish I grew up attending for years and years and years, and a lot of great people there. I know a lot of nice folks. That's a good, heartwarming story. We love hearing about the young people getting involved and doing that. Good stuff. All right, as we continue on Uncanceled, more fallout, including how is Brian Kilmeade still employed? Have you heard this controversy at Fox News? We'll do that next on KCMO.
If it's happening in KCMO, it's on KCMO 95.7 FM. Here's Kevin Kietzman.
All right, welcome back to Uncanceled on KCMO Talk Radio. Did you see the hullabaloo about Brian Kilmeade over the weekend from Fox News? I was watching live Friday before I came in and did the show. He was on Fox and Friends in the morning, and they were talking about the tragedy on the train in Charlotte, North Carolina, where the young lady was stabbed in the neck and died. And the conversation was off the cuff. The report had been done. The story was already over, and they come out on the couch, and they're all just sitting there chatting, right? Brian Kilmeade's one of the people on Fox and Friends. And the discussion is about mentally ill homeless people and what to do with them. I wrote a column about this over the weekend for the patrons of my podcast. I do a newsletter every week, and this was the topic that I chose to write about this weekend. And I've got very strong feelings that we're not doing any favors to mentally ill people by allowing them to live in cardboard boxes or under bridges. I think they'd be better off getting some help in some sort of a facility for at least 30 days and see where they are, if it's a medical condition, if it's mental health, whatever it may be. But turning them all loose and just saying, go live on your own is not good for anyone. It's not good for them, and it's not good for the crime that is committed because of it. So that was the topic, and they were sitting there. And Kilmeade says something about what to do with these people and basically comes up, we'll jail them if they refuse help. If you have mentally ill homeless people that refuse to get mental health that's provided for them, the topic now is jail them. And Kilmeade interrupts and says, quote, or involuntary lethal injections or something, just kill them. And when he said it, I'm like, good Lord, did he just say that? And I thought, well, he was joking, I thought. Now, it's not a funny topic to be making jokes about. That is his exact quote. This is the most unbelievable thing anybody's ever said and kept their job. And I sort of applaud Fox News because it clearly was a bad moment for Brian Kilmeade. He clearly didn't mean it literally. Okay? There's no way he meant go grab homeless people and involuntarily give them lethal injections. There's no way. I don't know what he was thinking when he said it. I don't think he was trying to be funny. I'm not sure. But he said, or involuntary lethal injection or something, just kill him. That was his exact quote. And he was on the couch today, and no suspension, no anything. He's apologized for it, I guess. Again, in the apology, it didn't say, hey, I was joking, and it was a terribly tasteless joke. What he said was, obviously, these were callous comments, and I didn't mean them the way that it happened, that, you know, there's a lot of homeless people that need help, whatever. But I've never heard anybody say anything like that and keep their job. But it indeed happened. Here's Joe in Merriam on KCMO. Hi, Joe.
Hey, Kevin. Yeah, Kilmeade should lose his job. I mean, he when he apologized, he didn't say he was joking or he had a lapse of judgment or he got caught up in emotion. He said, I apologize for the callous comment. That's ridiculous. We also have a woman who's on the school board for Manhattan Onaga Schools who said that Kirk's death was well-deserved. Now, two of the Republican candidates running for governor have called for her to be fired because she's also an employee of the state Department of Education, Board of Education. But as far as I know, that still hasn't happened.
Can anybody other than the governor fire her?
Yes, the head of the school board. And I don't recall his name right off.
Okay, and that's a local school board. That's the Manhattan, Kansas school board or Ogden?
Well, no, she's elected out there, so she'd have to resign that post. But she's a member of the state Board of Education, and the head of that can fire her. I don't remember his name. He's also announced he's leaving soon. But so far, nothing's happened.
Okay, well, it would be highly unlikely that state employee would fire her unless the governor allowed it.
Well, that's right. And if the governor told her subordinate to fire her, that could happen too. But it hasn't. I guess the Democrats think this is okay. I mean, this woman is the former chair of the Riley County Democrat Party. So there you go.
Jeff Collier has been all over this, the former governor of Kansas. He's just been all over this with all these people in the educational system in Kansas. And unfortunately, you know, if you went to one of these schools, he's not picking favorites here in the state of Kansas. He's saying it's all broken. There's problems in Lawrence. There's problems in Manhattan. There's problems in Emporia. There's problems in Wichita. There's problems everywhere. And he's pointing it all out, saying These people haven't just infested the educational system in Kansas, they've taken it over. They run it. And he's vowing right now, if you elect him governor next year, that it's over. He's cleaning out the entire thing, and he's going to build boards of education the way that's reflective of the percentage of voters in the state. It's a little bit like redistricting. But I think you would want to have in the state of Kansas, on any school board, you'd want to have 2/3 conservatives, because that's about what the electorate is. It's close to 2/3.
Well, I hope we have that many conservatives. I think we have that many nominal Republicans.
Well, what did Trump get? What number did Trump get? He got over 60%, didn't he?
A lot of non-conservatives voted for Trump for various reasons. We need more conservatives, true conservatives.
Okay. All right.
And Kilmeade's not a true conservative, and he should be fired.
Yeah, I don't know about his politics, whether he's a true conservative or not. I know that Brian Kilmeade, and on his radio show and other things, I know he likes to talk about geopolitical stuff all the time. He loves to talk about international wars and things like that. That's like his wheelhouse, that he likes things. But I got no issues with Brian Kilmeade. I'm merely pointing out I've never heard anybody say anything quite that outrageous and keep their job. It's pretty remarkable that has happened. It's actually kind of stunning. But we see all kinds of weird stuff going on. There's 2 Pakistani men in Utah. I don't know if you saw, these whack jobs got arrested. They've been taken in. In Salt Lake City, these Pakistanis who at their house, after they were arrested, they went to their house to see what they're all about. And these 2 men who they're from Pakistan, they live together. I don't know if they're roommates or partners or what their deal is, but they have a flagpole and an American flag on it upside down. So they're anti-American to begin with. They literally put a flagpole and a flag up upside down to let you know that they hate America. And next to it, there's another flagpole, and they spray painted their own flag on this one, and it's big and it's black, and with white spray paint it says, "Is he dead yet?" with a question mark, meaning Charlie Kirk. So these people, these Pakistanis, and if they're illegal, look out, because they need to be deported like instantly. They go into Salt Lake City and they lit some sort of a homemade device, like a bomb kind of thing that didn't explode, but they lit it underneath the Fox 13 news van and were arrested for this. And they're in custody. I don't think they should ever get out. Maybe they have citizenship. Maybe they don't. If they don't, let's see. Lighting an incendiary device underneath a vehicle that was just covering the news. I think that sounds like CCOT prison to me. If they're illegal. I'm serious. You can't go around lighting things. You can't be here illegally and go around trying to blow things up. I can't believe the story isn't getting more traction. Another story happened this morning, very interesting, because we witnessed, I've only seen the clips, I didn't watch. I know Pete talked about this earlier today. Apparently the Emmys were last night. And they did everything within their power to get viewers back. Nate Bargatze, am I saying the name properly? Bargatze?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. He's the clean comedian.
Yep.
He's a Christian, he's conservative, he's clean, and he's funny. They bring him as the host, and he says off the bat, there will be no political jokes here tonight. There's no politics in the Emmys. Just enjoy this for what it is. Great acting, great script writing. We're going to award these people all these things, until one of the actresses got up and did her thing and said, F ICE, Immigrations and Customs Enforcement. They don't like that. And then she said something pro-Palestine, free Palestine, and some other wacky thing, and walked away from the microphone. So they couldn't keep it out, I guess, in the speeches, which I get. But now they're trying immediately after what happened last week. They're desperate. This is going to happen all week. The news story this week is going to be people on the left are desperately going to try to make ICE the story. It's everywhere. This is what they want. And Trump has added some fuel on that because Muriel Bowser, the mayor of Washington, D.C., has decided that ICE is too much for her. This is a planned deal. It's going to happen everywhere. Pritzker's going to line up. They're all going to be lining up this week talking about ICE again. So Trump posted this morning that he is going to federalize all of D.C., all of it, because he can, if the mayor, Muriel Bowser of D.C., will not allow her police force to work with ICE. She's changed her mind. She says, we're not going to help ICE. We're not going to work with ICE. If they're here grabbing illegals and deporting them, we're not going to help. Trump's well within his authority to federalize the entire thing and say, great, you're out, I'm in, and you have no say over anything anymore. Now, he can't go to every city in America and do that, but what else would you need to know? When we see the polling on immigration and illegals coming in and the crime and all these things, what else would you need to know other than a party going into midterms next year at this time that's against immigration and customs enforcement? That's your party's stance. We're against ICE. We even hate the people that do the job. We see them as evil as well because they're doing the job. They've signed up to do it and they're doing it, so those are bad people too. They just go around from one good entity in this country to another and try to destroy it. Defund the police didn't work really well for the Democrats, now did it? No, it hasn't. And it's not been good for them politically. What's the political motivation to be against ICE? If you want to be critical and say, you know what, it's too much, it looks too heavy-handed, this is un-American looking, whatever, but we support the men and women in ICE, and, some of these criminal aliens shouldn't be here, you can have objections to maybe the way ICE operates or something, but just say, that's it, we're not working with you. We don't recognize you, and we refuse to have the police department in D.C. or Chicago or L.A. or San Francisco or New York. We are not working with ICE. Y'all are on your own. We're not cooperating. What is that? That just can't be a winner for Democrats. And Trump says he's going to federalize D.C. now and just take it all away from her. And he's been complimenting her right and left because she's allowed him to do it, and she's happy. There's no murders. Trump's right. It sounds stupid, but people are going out to dinner in D.C. They're not afraid to walk the streets. Not right now. Let's change it all. Memphis is next. There's people in Memphis that are celebrating. Business owners. Beale Street used to be a huge tourist attraction for people. Graceland, all these different things. And people have been staying away from Memphis. They're scared. Memphis has got huge crime problems. And everybody knows it. And it's going to be next. It's going to be really, really crime-free in some of the most dangerous places very quickly because the National Guard is in, and a whole lot of business owners in Memphis are really, really happy. This is Uncanceled on KCMO Talk Radio. We come back. We're going to check in with Mark. Our picks, well, his hit, mine didn't for the week. We have the worst husband's gift to his wife for an anniversary ever. And the kicker in Atlanta got quite a greeting last night after the Falcons won their game. That's all next on KCMO.
You're listening to Kevin Kietzman Uncanceled on KCMO Talk Radio 95.7 FM.
Tip of the cap to Nip Mangold, who played for the New York Jets, terrific player in the NFL for many, many years. His hometown of Madison, New Jersey, did not put flags at half staff this last week, and Mangold took to social media and wrote that he is, quote, disgusted and saddened, unquote, by his hometown for not doing that, acknowledging Charlie Kirk's passing. I just think it's great the way people have spoken out. This wouldn't have happened 10 years ago. People were afraid to say these things, so we applaud that. We like that. All right, let's check in with Mark and talk a little sports. His pick for you on Friday was Arizona getting points,
yeah,
right?
plus 1.5.
Plus 1.5. They beat K-State outright. Oh, boy, is K-State bad.
I don't know they should be better offensively.
You think? Where's Colin Klein as offensive coordinator when you need him? Anyway, you're 3-1 on the season, and now I fall to 3-1 because I had Pitt, which blew a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter and lost in overtime.
They should have had it. I had Pitt minus 6.5 on my show. Cost me there.
So that was stinky. But, hey, we're 6-2 combined. That's good.
That's good.
3-1 versus each other. That's cool. The Atlanta kicker last night, this is a great story. His name is Parker Romo, and he was on their practice squad for Atlanta. They had another kicker's pretty highly paid. Was his last name Koo?
Yes. Young Wei Koo.
Okay, so he remained on the roster, but was inactive and didn't make the road trip to the game. They said, because he missed a couple kicks last week. The veteran Koo missed kicks, and they said, we're going to try the guy off the practice squad this week. So they take him to Minnesota, where Atlanta wins on the road, and they were pretty big underdogs in this game. This young guy hit 5 field goals. Was 5 for 5. Are we going to play this, or am I going to explain it? You have this to play? No.
I can look it up quick.
Oh yeah, I think I sent it to you. It's the one I sent to you. So he becomes like the co-player of the game, and nobody's ever heard of him. Like, is this guy related to Tony Romo? What's the story with the kicker here in Atlanta? It's Parker Romo, and he hit 5 of them, and was the co-player of the game. And so they're going to bring him over after the game, and they're standing there, and Bijan Robinson is the star running back for Atlanta. Everybody knows this player. Leonard Floyd's a great defensive player. So she's got offense, defense, special teams, and she's talking to this Parker Romo when this happens.
Let's keep going.
And I know you're learning your teammates' names. You know their names, right?
I know Bijan.
This is Leonard Floyd over here. You guys want it? Nice to meet you. Back to you guys.
He literally was standing next to a teammate after the game that he had never met. That's unbelievable.
Those dudes are beasts next to this kicker, too.
Yeah, they are.
Huge dudes.
And Floyd couldn't have been nicer. He's
Yeah.
like, oh, yeah, nice to meet you. I mean, I guess you get on the airplane and stuff. You don't really walk up and down the aisle. You're the practice squad kicker. You're on the team. You don't just walk up and down the aisle on the airplane and introduce yourself to anybody. They really, when they talk about like the receiver room, the quarterback room, whatever, you really are on your island in the NFL with your position. So the kicker, the holder, the punter, they're always together. Apparently, he'd never met Leonard Floyd until Melissa Stark introduced him after the game.
Leonard Floyd is a big veteran, you know. He's been around for a while, so he's probably taking naps on the flight, you know.
Such a great player. That was just one of those awesome moments. And good for him. You don't go 5 out of 5 and lose your job. I mean, he's going to kick again this week, right?
Yeah, they're just going to give young Wei Koo that mental rest.
Yeah, give him a little bit of a break. They haven't cut him yet. He's still on their team. What's the worst gift or the dumbest gift you ever got anybody, Mark?
Off the top of my head, I don't know. I can't think of anything good right now.
You've never blown it. You've never had, okay, it's anniversary or birthday or you did something and like that wasn't very good. Like I mean, just absolutely blew it.
I can't think of one right now.
I got Jessica one time, you know, the dust buster thing that you clean the dirt out of your car in because her car was getting dirty.
Oh, yeah.
I was getting tired of cleaning it.
Mm-hmm.
And she said something to the effect of, well, if I didn't have, we had like a vacuum or something in the garage you had to plug in, and we didn't have one of those car vac. So I got her one time, and she was not happy with me at all for getting her the car vac. Like, here it is. Let's keep this thing a little cleaner, okay?
I gave my wife a vacuum once, but she wanted one. So that came to my mind, but she actually wanted that.
Well, this wife went to Reddit or one of these sites, and she posted what her husband did for their anniversary. She saved all year to buy him an Apple Watch. She cooked his favorite meal, and she lit candles for her, man. Hello? First of all, I don't believe her. That's nice for her to say that, but I don't believe her. That's never happened for me. I've never, the candle lightings. The husband gave her a $100 video game gift card. Like, GameStop or something.
Oh, my.
He said, we can both use this because you love watching me play video games. She doesn't play.
Oh, no.
She claims that she tries to keep in the marriage and be part of this thing by encouraging him and sitting with him sometimes while he's playing them. So he got her a video game card, said, pick out any game you want me to play.
Oh, my goodness.
The worst. You got to love it. Men are stupid. We all know this. Thanks for listening to Uncanceled. The Vince Show is coming up next on KCMO.